Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind Orlando. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week, my friends and I talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
But if you want to get a sense of the comedy of the show and you want to get a sense of like all of our characters, I do think the fashion show episode from season 2 is a great way to introduce people to this. And then they can circle back and catch up.
And also Margo. Oh. She's sick. Come on, she's cool. Come on. Icon. She's an icon. Are you kidding me? Come on now.
You're crazy.
Come on now.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind Orlando.
Some health issues are easy to spot, but others can take years before you even know what's going on. One of those is Hidradenitis Suppurativa, or HS, a painful skin condition that affects about 1 in every 100 people. Joining us today are Dr. Lana Schmidt, a board-certified dermatologist, and TV personality Frank Grimsley, who's opening up about his personal experience living with HS. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Frank, can you tell us a little bit about your personal journey with HS and how it's affected your life?
My personal journey with HS has truly been a journey. I started experiencing symptoms with HS when I was around 16 years old, and I didn't get an official diagnosis for it until about 10 years later. So it has indeed been a journey to go from experiencing something that was so painful, so isolating, and so shameful at times to getting a diagnosis and now partnering with Novartis to shed light and bring awareness to hidradenitis suppurativa is truly a full circle moment. And I'm just grateful to be here to talk more about it.
What finally pushed you to seek out treatment and get help for your HS?
Well, I actually sought out treatment once before when I was younger, and I felt shame around it. And the doctors also made me feel like I was a science experiment. They had no idea what was going on, and I promised myself after that visit that I wasn't going back. And I actually was on a routine dermatology visit for some facial things that I had going on, and because my dermatologist and I had such a good relationship, we just started talking, and she was like, you have HS and there's treatments for that, and I haven't looked back since.
And what message would you share with others who might be living with HS right now?
If you're living with HS right now, I would definitely say get with a dermatologist, advocate for yourself, and see if there's a treatment that will work for you. Also, visiting, Cosentyx.com, there are so many resources out there. I think based on where I started and where we are today, there has been miles and miles of developments and resources, and there's a community out there waiting for you, and you don't have to do this alone anymore.
Dr. Schmidt, for anyone who's unfamiliar, what exactly is HS and how is it diagnosed?
So HS, patients with it have these repetitive, painful bumps and boils, and often they're in areas of friction, like in the armpits and the groin or under the breast area. And like Frank said, many patients have not been diagnosed for years, but now we have treatments for them. The treatments are called biologics. One of the treatments is Cosentyx. And I tell my patients on Cosentyx, just like any medication, we watch for certain side effects like serious allergic reactions, inflammatory bowel disease flare-ups, serious infections including tuberculosis, or even rashes that can look like eczema. But the most common side effects are things like diarrhea, colds, or upper respiratory infections. So it is important to talk to your dermatologist and get a treatment that's right for you.
And what symptoms should people look out for, and who tends to be the most affected?
So the symptoms are usually recurrent bumps, lumps, or boils, especially if they're repetitive, and it can affect both men and women, but often it starts in puberty or right after puberty.
If someone's struggling to manage their HS, what kind of help or next step should they consider?
So they should consider talking to their healthcare provider or a dermatologist. You can also go to Cosentyx.com. There's lots of resources on there that talk about HS and some of the treatments that are available. And I want patients to know that there's hope out there, that they don't have to live alone with this anymore.
One more time, what's the key takeaway for our viewers, and where can they go to learn more?
I would say that the key takeaway here today is that you, again, don't have to do this alone. I think there's help out there. If I were to tell my younger self where we are today and just being on the other side of it, having a treatment plan that is working for me has truly just been something I can't even really explain. To just go from so many dark days to days filled with light is just truly amazing. And I just want people to seek out help, talk to your healthcare provider, advocate for yourself, and definitely go visit Cosentyx.com and just see what's out there, get some more information, and learn more. The more we know, the more we grow.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We've all heard about the rise of popular weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. But what happens when you stop taking them? Many people find the pounds come back and their energy levels crash. New research from Tonum Health and Duke University is looking at natural ways to keep your metabolism balanced without the meds. Joining me now is biochemist and clinical dietitian Shawn Wells, who's been called the most trusted voice in supplements. Shawn, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Shawn, coming off a GLP-1 medication can be a real struggle for some. Why does the weight often come back so quickly?
Well, within 12 months, about 2 out of 3 people end up getting off of these medications because there's so many side effects. The constipation, the fatigue, the heartburn, the insomnia. And then we also see that the majority of the weight loss, up to 60%, can be bone and muscle, which is why we're seeing more porous bones, more osteoporosis, lower metabolism with that muscle mass loss. And then there's also concerns with vision and heart health. And this is leading people to get off these medications. And then when they do, they end up having their weight come back on, and it's mostly fat as a result.
You've studied supplements and metabolism for years. Are there any that have been clinically shown to support healthy weight and energy levels after stopping these medications?
Absolutely. So at Duke University, one of the most prestigious universities to do research, there's a 6-month trial with Tonum Health's Motus, Tonum, and the product is Motus, Motus. And that 6-month trial with 100 study participants, and it's actually going beyond that with another 6 to 12 months being studied beyond the results we have now, we saw 10.5% weight loss in that 6 months. And then we also saw if diet and exercise was really top tier, was excellent, we saw 14.5% weight loss. And across the study, about 87% of that weight loss was fat mass. And compare that to these medications where it's only about 40% of what's being lost is fat mass. And energy goes down precipitously, metabolism goes down precipitously, while we see with Tonum's Motus, we see energy and metabolism increase with its multiple mechanism formulation.
So for anyone looking to stay on track after medication or just boost their metabolism naturally, what simple steps can make the biggest difference?
Well, I would take a look at Tonum's Motus by going to tonum.com, Tonum, and I would certainly look to do a whole food diet, hydrate well, exercise well, keep your protein levels high to maintain that lean body mass. And I think that's a pretty good recipe for success.
Excellent. One more time, where can our viewers go to learn more about Tonum Health and all of this new amazing research?
Tonum.com, Tonum, Tonum.com, and the product is Motus, Motus.
Excellent. Shawn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're told AI is the future for a lot of people. It's the present, and it's reshaping jobs right now. DeVry University's new workplace study suggests a quiet standoff. Employers say they need new skills fast, while many employees feel they're already set. So here to break down what's real and what's noise is Dave Barnett, Chief Administrative Officer at DeVry, and Scarlett Howery, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships. Dave, Scarlett, great to have you guys here.
Great. Thanks for having us.
And it's good to have you. All right, Scarlett, straight up, do U.S. employees have the skills to stay employable and thrive over the next 5 years?
Well, it really does depend on who you ask. We actually surveyed over 1,500 workers and another 500 employers. And we wanted to understand the state of the workforce in this age of AI. And what we found is that there is this silent standoff, the difference between what's happening now and what comes next. Right now, employers and workers believe that they are doing all that they can and that they have the skills that they need. But both sides are concerned about what the future holds and what comes next when it comes to AI skills that are necessary. That's why both sides need to communicate effectively. Employers need to share what types of roles and what types of skills are necessary for AI roles, and employees need to take advantage of the upskilling solutions that are offered. The time is right now for employees and employers to bridge this gap in skills so that they gain the skills that are needed for the AI jobs of the future.
All right, Dave, what's driving the perception gap between leaders and employees? And what are the risks when those perspectives don't actually line up?
Yeah, it's a great question, Dan. There's a lot of risk, right? When we're not seeing the world the same way on the two sides of that equation, we can stall innovation. We risk a workforce that doesn't have the skills requisite to advance the things our organizations are trying to do. And we saw several points of divergence emerge. 85% of workers report they feel well qualified to do their jobs today. But simultaneously, 69% of employers worry that same workforce lacks the skills necessary to be successful. When we think about how we move forward from there, 75% of employers claim they're doing enough to upskill and reskill their workforce, but nearly 1/3 of workers say their employers are simply falling short. This dissonance where one group is looking to the other has to be broken. We have to move forward and clearly articulate what the skills needed for the workforce of an AI-powered future look like and how we move across the pathway to get there.
And Scarlett, outside the AI headlines, what surprised you most in the findings?
Yeah, the fact that upskilling is not optional anymore. It is absolutely necessary. Lifelong learning should be a part of your plan, especially if you're currently earning a degree or you're doing some sort of upskilling and you think that that's all you need to do the rest of your career. You probably need to rethink that. In this study, we surveyed workers and found that 44% of them said that they would actually use their personal time to upskill and reskill. And that's really good news. That means that they're taking this seriously. Now it's our turn as a university and higher ed institutions. We need to partner with industries and companies to build upskilling pathways so that employees and learners have access. We meet them where they are. Be it at work or at home, they have access to the skills that they need for the AI jobs of the future.
And Dave, where's the biggest underused human potential you see? Like, you know, those skills or strengths or untapped Pokemon skills that we haven't tapped into yet.
I don't know about Pokemon skills, but what I will say is we're talking a ton about technology and AI and tech skills, but the reality is those tools are only useful in the way that they make humans incredibly successful and productive. So we like to, at DeVry, talk a lot about durable skills. They're not just soft skills, those skills that will always endure and carry us forward. Things like problem solving, critical thinking, empathy, and human connection. They matter a ton, and frankly, they matter more today than they ever have. 78% of employers say that those durable skills are the new job security, and 63% of workers agree. It's not technology or AI versus humans. It's really the two together. How do we bring those tools to bear with uniquely human skills so we can ultimately elevate our workforce and elevate our organization?
All right, you two, where can we dig into those like full results and find some next step resources?
Yeah, to find out more, you can visit us at DeVry.edu.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
They're mean, they're messy, and they're absolutely unforgettable. And now, Roald Dahl's classic villains are back with a brand new twist. The Twits. It's the hilarious animated musical on Netflix where two terrible adults try to take over their town until a group of clever kids and magical animals fight back. So joining us are Margo Martindale, who voices Mrs. Twit, and Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, the voice of Bisha, one of the young heroes standing up to all of this chaos. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Oh, great.
Good.
Thank you.
Doing great.
Okay, Roald Dahl, his stories, they're always filled with like dark humor, but yeah, a lot of hearts. What was it like stepping into his world for the Twits?
It was a joyride, really.
Truly, a true joyride in the land of the Twitlandia amusement park. Very dark humor and obviously, like you said, emotional themes, but also a really nasty, grimy, gross and smelly backdrop for the Twits.
And Margo, Ms. Twit.
Yeah.
She's such
What
a
about it?
wonderfully awful
What about
character.
her?
How did you find your take on her personality and her voice and all of that?
Just follow the leader, if you know what I mean. Phil Johnson really, he was the guide for all of us, and he's a unbelievably creative, fun-loving, crazy, wonderful man. And it was like there was no limit to what we could do. You know, to blow the top off, basically.
And Maitreyi, your character Bisha brings so much heart to the story. What did you love most about playing her?
I think truly the thing that I loved most was that she is so kind and is so good. And even her, she still can succumb and slip to being a little awful, just like a twit. And the character arc that she has is so beautiful and is so just honest and real in a world that feels very absurd. So that juxtaposition is very appealing to me.
In the movie, it mixes some humor, some music, and a great message about teamwork. What do you hope families take away after watching this?
I just hope they take away the joy that we felt doing it, that we had doing it, and also the beauty of the animation is extraordinary, I think. And you hope maybe some people will be nicer to each other.
Yeah, a little kindness, a little kindness.
Little
Take away a
kindness
laugh and
goes a long way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of you have such diverse careers. What made the Twits stand out as something that you just definitely wanted to be part of?
Phil Johnson.
Yeah, Phil. And also Margo.
Oh.
She's sick. Come on, she's cool.
Come on.
Icon. She's an icon. Are you kidding me? Come on now.
You're crazy.
Come on now. Phil and Margo.
Oh, wow. Well, that's nice.
See, you got a little bit of love there. The Twits is now streaming on Netflix. It's the perfect pick for a family movie night full of laughs, songs, and maybe a little mischief. You can check it out now at netflix.com/thetwits. Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lately, we've seen all of the buzz around new weight loss medications, but with that popularity comes some real safety concerns. Many people are turning to compounded or knockoff versions that are sold online, and experts are warning that some can even be dangerous. So joining me is Dr. Leigh Verbois, a board member of the Alliance for Safe Online Pharmacies and a former FDA official, here to explain what's happening and how patients can protect themselves. Welcome to the show, Dr. Verbois. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Okay, there have been a lot of talk about compounded versions of these popular GLP-1 weight loss medications. I'm getting advertised for them. What are some of the real risks about these, and what should we know?
Yeah, I get a lot of advertisements too. And it's important to understand that there is a gap between FDA-approved drugs and compounded GLP-1s. And that's a real and serious risk for many patients. Mass compounders are creating knockoffs and untested and unproven drugs and adding unnecessary ingredients like B12 and falsely claiming that they're personalized for individual patients. Too often, these are being sold in illegal online pharmacies, and that bypasses all the safeguards that are meant to protect patients. We see that this is having an impact on patients. Patients are more likely to be hospitalized up to 2 times the rate of others.
And many people are surprised to hear that the compounded drugs don't always go through the same FDA process. Why are they allowed to be sold at all?
Yeah, compounded drugs fill a very narrow gap when FDA-approved drugs are not available for a specific patient need. Think about when someone has an allergy to a piece of an approved product. And right now, mass compounders are violating FDA rules by mass producing knockoff GLP-1s and pretending that they're personalized. Many are sold through these unverified pharmacies. And the safest thing that a patient can do is go through one of the verified pharmacies and only use FDA-approved products.
So if somebody is looking for a weight loss treatment, what steps can they take to make sure that the medication is safe and even legitimate?
Yeah, the first thing a patient needs to do to make sure they're getting safe products is to talk to their healthcare provider before starting any medication. and only use verified pharmacies that dispense FDA-approved GLP-1s. To stay informed, patients can visit the Alliance for Safe Online Pharmacies at www.buysaferx.pharmacy.
And finally, what more can be done by patients, providers, or even like policymakers to try to better protect people from these like unsafe online products?
I love getting this question because it shows that everyone has a little bit of responsibility. Patient safety has to come first. FDA needs to step up their inspection. They need to close their oversight gaps and enforce rules prohibiting the sale of unsafe compounded GLP-1s. Recalls and warning letters show us how serious the risks are. And the data I showed on hospitalization, it showcases that. At the end of the day, this is fundamentally a public health issue. Patients should consult their healthcare providers, but FDA needs to close those gaps and showcase their critical role in keeping patients safe.
I want to thank you for joining me today. One more time, where can we go for more information?
Go to www.buysaferx.pharmacy.
Dr. Verbois, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Do you ever wonder what happens after a billionaire just decides, I'm going to give it all away? You know, the office is left to clean up the chaos. Apple TV Plus's Loot is back with its third season, and this time, the Wells Foundation crew is facing fresh drama, bigger laughs, and a few emotional twists along the way. So joining us are Michaela J. Rodriguez, who plays Sophia, and Joel Kim Booster, who plays Nicholas. You know, two fan favorites who help keep this hilarious workplace running, well, most of the time. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
All right, now that season 3 is out, fans finally got to see what happens after the jet-setting cliffhanger. How would you describe the vibe of this season and how the Wells Foundation has evolved since last time?
You know what? I think jet-setting is sort of the vibe for the entire season. We go a lot of different places this year, and it's going to be really fun. We get out of the office a lot more this season than I think we have in seasons past, which is really exciting for all of us. And it's putting all of the characters in situations that I think are testing them and forcing them to grow a little bit. And they're all experiencing a lot of change, I think, this season.
Sophia is usually the calm and collected one. So without giving too much away, what new challenges really test her this season, either at work or personally?
Well, you know, I think there's a whirlwind of an individual that just comes and knocks her off her feet, and she doesn't know how to deal with that, being that it's so close to home. And she has to navigate that while still managing the foundation. So I think that's a great way to get things started, which is shake her up a bit and make her bust at the seams a little bit, because I think a lot of us are tired of seeing Sophia so straight-laced, you know? So, like, I think that's one thing. And also our stories in general, how we're paired up and seeing each and every last one of us just, like, play off of each other.
And Nicholas has become Molly's right hand and also become a fan favorite. What's his big glow up or I guess an uh-oh moment we should be watching out for?
You know what? I think that, I can't go into too much detail, but I think you get a sense of what Nicholas's sort of goals are beyond the Wells Foundation this year. Yeah. We've planted the seeds, I think, in seasons 1 and 2, and you really see it come to fruition in a big way in season 3, which is really exciting. And you get a lot of a deeper sense of his relationship with Molly and how that started and where it's going too.
And the Molly Arthur, will they, won't they, it gets a lot of attention. How does that thread shape the team's dynamic this season?
You know, I've always seen it as, from the beginning of season 1 until now, I've always seen Molly as the mother hen and, Nat's character as like the budding father who comes in. Then after that is Joel's character, my character, and Stephanie's character as like the children, if you will, and the ones. So I kind of always seen it like that. I mean, what about you, Joel?
Yeah, I think it's interesting this season because it's always fun in games to watch the will they, won't they happen, but it's always interesting to see what eventually what the actual doing of the relationship will look like in practicality and in reality, and it's a whole new set of hurdles for them to get over now that they are a little bit closer. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun to watch that play out.
And for new viewers that are jumping into season 3, what's the perfect, I guess, on-ramp episode or a quick catch-up beat that they should be knowing before they hit play?
Oh man. You know what? My personal favorite, this is maybe not like the best entryway point for a new watcher, but if you want to get a sense of the comedy of the show and you want to get a sense of like all of our characters, I do think the fashion show episode from season 2 is a great way to introduce people to this. And then they can circle back and catch up. But in terms of like how big our show goes, how silly our show goes, and how much heart our show has, you really get a sense of that in season 2 in that fashion show episode. And you get to see Maya Rudolph in, you know, the height of doing what Maya Rudolph does.
Yes.
So yeah, check that out for sure.
Or you could just give out all your money and have your friends help you on that.
Yeah,
that's true too.
Season 3 of Loot is now streaming on Apple TV Plus, with the first 2 episodes out, with new ones dropping weekly through December 10th. Go check it out and let us know your favorite Sophia or Nicholas moment after you binge. Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Of course, thank you.
And that's it for Rise Unwind Orlando. Want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, go to our website, riseunwindtv.com. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And also follow our YouTube channel. That's at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.
When the light angles into the leaves, you can't place the scent or the breeze. A million tiny lives lie hidden in the trees. Soft voices whispering extraordinary things. A neon shift replaces the faces that you knew. Your lizard brain is bracing for the change inside of you. Alien summer came and they woke in us. We shared arguments, skin to find new fingers reaching up. From quiescent crystallized beneath the August moon. The travelers made conscious the world to consume. While the nightingales chitter and chant, they feed in the forests of man. With praying probosities, paralyzing sting. An army of witch mantis hunting everything. The sonic trigger instigates the slaughter of the earth. Frontal lobes corrupted by the hive's ancestral thirst. Alien summer came and they awoke in us. We shared arguments, skin to find new fingers reaching up. From quiescent crystallized beneath the August moon. The travelers made conscious the world to consume. Receding from the beaches of my dreaming into this exoskeleton. The man you knew is gone, like the memory of a song. I knew you once, but that was long ago.